this season. Here's a look at the numbers against the Jazz. Defensively, Lakers were outstanding, holding the Jazz to just 91 points, 41% shooting. Out-rebounded the Jazz, more assists, 21.5 turnovers, second lowest versus any Western Conference match up. So the Lakers came to play against the Jazz. One thing, Big Game James and Rob, about the bubble. The games come quickly, so you have a chance to bounce back. So the Lakers struggled big time on Saturday offensively, just 35%. Here you are 2 days later, ready to get back at it.
And that's the formula you want after a bad game or a disappointing game. You want to be able to get a practice in, look at the video, and try to redeem or revenge that game. So that is one thing about the bubble. They're every other day, and they get a chance to also watch a lot of games on their off day. So it's a good thing to expedite those games so they can, fix the problem.
Yeah, let it roll off your back. You have to forget about it. And watching that game, I felt like the Lakers were really pressing because, no matter if they were on a team or not on a team, so many times losing to Toronto Raptors, and this is a team that LeBron pretty much owned when he was in the East, and he's just like, we need to end this streak. We need to go out and to watch them play. I'm like, I didn't even know who that team was. They looked like a totally different ball club.
Yeah, LeBron dominant when he was with the Cavs and the Heat against Toronto, but the Lakers haven't beaten him since 2014. So LeBron is actually 0-4. And James, when you look at this Jazz team and how the Lakers have played against them, outstanding. A huge road win in December on a back-to-back night after Denver that kind of told the rest of the league this Laker team is for real and kind of the dominant team in the Western Conference. But this feels like a new season. So what are you hoping to see tonight after the first two games?
Well, they need to recapture, some of the energy they had in the scrimmages as they led into the official games. And that's usually letting your defense dictate your offense. Me personally, I love the LeBron AD combo, but I think they got to get other guys involved earlier. Danny Green in particular has a tough time scoring off the dribble. He's not going to get his. You need to have an offense that can break down the defense, kick out where he's valuable. Guys like Pope, get them going. I see other teams, they have their guys off the bench and some of their fourth and fifth players getting involved early because that LeBron and AD. So I'm looking for a collective effort, but the defense is where it all is going to start.
I agree 100% with that. As you watch the game, the ball, when I say it was sticking in LeBron and AD, I don't mean it in a bad way, but it wasn't popping like it normally does. And those guys were kind of trying to do their thing to try to get back in that game. And that's what, stars of teams do. They kind of put it on themselves to go out there and try to attack and be in an aggressive mood. So, but sometimes you got to, rely on, as Shaq like to say, those other guys on the team that aren't the big dogs of the team. You got to go with the KCPs. You have to go with the Kuzmas and let them try to get the night because you never know. It might be their night to shine.
I want to ask you guys both this because there's not too many people that know more about championships than you guys. With a win tonight, the Lakers clinched the conference for the first time since 2010. It's a great accomplishment. But more than that, you want to be going into the playoffs feeling good about where you're at, right, James? Like that feeling you have going into a playoff. You just know when you're right.
Yeah, I mean, you know when everything's clicking. When you turn the key, the radio sounds good, the battery's working, the carburetor, everything. You can hear that sound. And that's the same thing going into the playoffs. Them clinching early, they have to be careful. I think Vogel has realized that they've had enough time off, and they got to keep everybody fresh. You got to still keep that killer instinct, even if they clinch early. So that's what I would be looking forward to, keep that killer instinct going, whether that's practicing hard, giving guys valuable minutes in the game, keep it going.
Rob, how important is it? You won 7 championships. I'm sure you didn't have the same feeling every single time. I'm sure sometimes going in you thought nobody can beat us, right? Was there other times where that momentum gained as you went on to each series?
Well, every time as a Laker and Spur, I felt like we were going to win those championships. Yeah. We had a better team. The only time it felt like that was when I was with the Rockets one time and we was a 6 seed. But
you went down 0-2.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, as a team, you can tell when a team gets a rhythm. And you can look at guys that's coming in the game, they're feeling good, they're feeling confident, and that's the biggest key. You look at a lot of these guys now, they don't play with that same energy. It's a certain je ne sais quoi that they play without there, and they're not playing with it. They're not playing with it because it's just a confidence thing. You know, guys are sticking their chest out, guys are talking, guys are pointing their pistols on the defense. You know, everybody always talk about the offense, but you can tell, even so, on the defensive end, how the flow is going, how they're talking to each other, they're moving the basketball, and they're just smiling and having a good time. And you didn't see that last game. The first game they did because I think they had the energy and they're drilling because they know it was a really true first NBA game back.
Yeah. It's interesting because the Lakers know where they're going to be basically in the Western Conference. A lot of these teams are playing for positioning and stuff, so you have to mentally be ready to up your game and get ready for the playoffs. For more on the Purple and Gold's matchup with the Utah Jazz, let's check in with the Lakers reporter, Michael Trudell. Michael, what's up?
Hey, guys, nice to see you. So, look, it's been pretty obvious, right, what we've seen in the first two ball games. The Lakers have been really good defensively, not as good offensively. In fact, their offensive efficiency has been last in the league in this tiny sample size of 2 games. So we talked to LeBron after last game. He thought it was just missing wide open shots. Wanted to address that with Frank Vogel also and just see what he thought and what he was seeing from the offensive perspective as they look to keep building, keep getting that thing going before the playoffs resume in a couple of weeks. Here's Vogel a couple of moments ago.
Well, the number one thing is our shooters haven't shown up yet. You know, that's the only thing. We're playing really good basketball. We're playing extra pass basketball. And, you know, we just had a couple poor shooting nights. We're also playing against 2 of the best defensive teams in the league the last 2 games. So obviously things are going to be harder. It's not much different tonight with Rudy Gobert in there. So, you know, it's just you have smaller margin for error against great defensive teams. So when you draw 2 to the ball and you move it on, you got to knock down shots from the backside. And, you know, we expect to do that. We get the same shots we got tonight that we got against Toronto. You could see us have 20 made threes. So, yeah, we just got to stay with it, keep trusting a pass, and we'll be okay.
Frank, is there anything that you want to see minutes-wise, whether it's starters, whether it's some more guys off the bench, or anything different in this game than from the first 2?
It'll be similar. You know, we're continuing to just strike that balance of, you know, competing to win, you know, using the guys that, you know, we're trying to accomplish different roles and, you know, continue to strike that balance. Probably similar to the first 2 games.
Before the last game, you said that you wanted to give major minutes to KCP and Caruso to get them accustomed to it, while also trying to work in Markieff and JR. Certainly working Markieff, but JR not as much. What are your goals in terms of trying to work guys in the rotation tonight?
Similar to that, you know, we're going to see how the game plays out with those guys. You know, I want to get Markieff and JR in particular, you know, more run to get them in rhythm. But you know, again, you know, we're gonna play the lineups that are gonna win the game for us. You know, and you know, if that means those guys get an opportunity, great. If not, you know, we'll go with the other guys.
All right, guys, so the Lakers played really well in their 2 games against Utah in the regular season. I suppose it's still the regular season, but you know what I mean, before the COVID hiatus. One thing that worked really well early in the season was Rudy Gobert, of course, plays the 5, so they went small in the second half. I thought it was a nice move by Vogel. That was one of those first times you saw that lineup click. But then they stayed big and beat the Jazz really badly, basically, as Gita referred to earlier on that back-to-back in December. So both lineups have worked so far against the Utah Jazz. We'll see what Vogel goes with tonight for the majority of the time.
All right, Mike, appreciate it. It's the Lakers and Jazz coming up at 6 o'clock here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Mike Conley was a huge pickup last summer for Utah, but he has struggled in his first season. His scoring is down 7 points per game from a year ago, but don't sleep on him. He won the horse challenge during the hiatus. It's a big deal to some. And coming up on Access, it's a tough road ahead for the Purple and Gold. Our insider tells us why he thinks the Lakers need to send a message to teams as they prepare for the postseason.
Access Sportsnet Lakers is brought to you in part by Wingstop, the official wings of the Los Angeles Lakers. Get exclusive Wingstop offers and Lakers swag on the Lakers app.
Hi, Wingstop.